Mr. Luke.
Well, today's a special day. Not only is it the last day of the season, I've got two managers with me. I've got Steve McKim and I also have young Rob, who was manager for the day. How did you do, Steve?
Fantastic, fantastic. Out there geeing the boys up. I bet he'll say the same as what I did. It's hard to gee them up when they're sort of like down in the dumps, but no, brilliant. Great experience for him, I hope. And maybe do another one another time.
Definitely. How was it, Rob?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Well done. You've done a really good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Turning to the game, obviously slightly disappointing. I thought it was a high quality game, particularly first half. Second half it fizzed out a little bit.
Disappointing is an understatement. And I know it's the last game of the season, nothing on it. But there is, for players, for managers, there's pride. And I think their keeper pulled off 4 or 5 good saves. I think Johnny's out to save the penalty, and obviously they've scored the 2 goals. So disappointing to go out like that. Story of our season though, Jim. You know, we haven't been putting the ball in the back of the net frequently enough, and we've been conceding goals that maybe we shouldn't, or maybe we wouldn't, with a more experienced back four. But there's nothing taken away from the boys that were there today. You know, they've had to roll their sleeves up and be counting. I give them top marks for trying. It's one of them. It's a deflating into a very disappointing season, and I'm not listening to the fans saying that, because I know what they feel about it. Personally, myself, Barry, all the staff and the players don't think that they've done enough. I wouldn't say done enough. We haven't done the right things at the right time. With or without injuries, you've still got 11 players out there, and like I say, just disappointing not to come away with anything today, being the last game of the season at home.
Leatherhead, I think, finished somewhere around about 7th or 8th. We finished 11th. Is that effectively the difference between the two sides today?
Leatherhead didn't have their full strength side out today, that they've been playing majority week in, week out. Speaking to Lee Minshew earlier, I think he's played about 40 odd games plus. Jack Midson's played about the same. So they've got a lot of players with a lot of experience that have played a number of games, and credit to them for being fit enough to do that. They've missed out on goal difference, the playoffs, as we missed out last year by a point. So they knew their fate after Wednesday's result. Wednesday's result. So they come here today and play for freedom, because they weren't going to get the overall goals either way. But they've done well this season. Credit to Sammy and his staff and the playing team, because they've got themselves to a second round of the FA Cup, I believe, and just missed out on the playoffs. So it's a good season for them compared to where they finished last year. So was there a massive golfing difference in the two teams, either today or at their place, or anyone we've played? I think our worst result this season has been Enfield, and that was 4-1. I think it's been the odd goal that we've been done by. And playing on heartstrings, if you like. I think with a full strength side that I could play week in, week out, you wouldn't lose all them games. So it's been disappointing. It's been hard, it's been tough. This has probably been as tough as my first season when I had no players at all. Maybe it shouldn't have been, but it has been, considering certain aspects of what's gone on. But we dust ourselves down and go again. Plenty of talks going in the summer with players, new and old. And we see who wants to stay, like we spoke previous couple of weeks ago, who wants to stay and who doesn't. And we'll rebuild from there, because one thing that we are decent at, me and the staff, is getting players in that will play a tune for this club. And we'll look to do that again if people don't want to stay.
It has been frustrating, hasn't it? I mean, look at it. Let's look at some of the results. We've beaten Birricky, we've beaten Dulwich, we've beaten Hendon, we've beaten Leiston, and we've drawn twice with Margate. And yet we've lost here at home to Burgess Hill and Tooting. How do we explain that?
Lost here to Burgess Hill and Tooting, drew away at Tooting, lost here to Worthing in that last couple of minutes, lost away to Worthing, and that's no disrespect, because Worthing finished very well with Adam. Yeah. Harlow, you know, took 1 point off of Harlow. So if you are or have any aspirations of being in that top lot, you've got to be beating them teams and competing against the ones that are above you. And unfortunately we competed against the ones above us, but the ones below us we fell short. Bad luck, bad tactics, bad play, it all comes into account. We're all accountable for it, but it's gone. And what we've got to do now is look forward to the future, which is next season, rebuild in the summer in certain areas. If we can get what we want, and we can keep, listen, our squad's going to be small next year, but what we're looking for is a good, strong, experienced squad, filtered with the youngsters that will get their chance as proven. It's not just injuries that they've got their chance, they will get their chance on merit, and I will do that, and I've done that ever since I've been here. So it's a case of us making sure we can keep people fit, because it's one of those hamstring injuries and knocks, you can't really do much. When you have long-term injuries, that's when you struggle. But we've got a plan in action next year of what we want to do in terms of the playing squad, using the 12th man scheme to bring in loans rather than people permanent, because you can't afford them on what we've got in the 12th man, but you can get loans in month by month, and we'll work it that way. But we've all got our health, we're all living happy, we've all got our families, and football, like I say, it's a release for a lot of people. Everyone wants to win, everyone wants to do well, and we will do the best we can next year, and hopefully do better than what we've done this year.
You mentioned injuries, and you did at one point hint at ways, and there's no reflection on Melvin, I know he does an absolutely fabulous job. Is there any way of somehow lessening the number of injuries or the types of injuries that
because
we have?
Like Melvin done a stat which he's over 3/4 of the injuries are things that we can't do. So like I say, Tom Parkinson should be back Christmas. Doesn't come back until the last 4 games because the surgeon's got it wrong. Tommy Whitnell has an operation in the summer. They don't do it correctly, he has to have the same operation after that. That's nothing Melvin can do, that's nothing we can do, it's nothing we're doing in training. If we had everyone pulling hamstrings and groins and stuff like that, then we look at the training regime that we're doing. Are we pushing them too much, considering they're working all day? Are we doing the right things with them? Are they doing the right things outside of coming to Tonbridge Angels? Because you have to look after yourselves now. That's when we look at ourselves. When you get ankle breaks and you get Damien Scannell muscle coming away from the bone, nothing that we can do about that. Melvin can't do anything about it, and they're the ones that hurt you more, because they are the long-term ones, and that's just the freak of nature. You know, a hamstring pull, you're back in 2 or 3 weeks. You can cover that, but when you start getting major injuries, you can't do it.
No. It has affected us, hasn't it, this season, definitely?
Yeah. People think it's excuses. It's not excuses. It's fact. It's a fact.
Well, you've only got to see what Tom Parkinson brings us.
In the last 2-3 games, in the time he's been on, you know, he was tired today. He was going to come off just after half time, but he gave us a bit extra. But yeah, you can see what, like George Bevan, Jack Parter. You know, once you start getting them players back in, all of a sudden it's a different way of playing in terms of. They've played there for a long time, they know what is expected of them. The young boys are better watching sometimes, learning. But it's not just the young boys, it's everyone this year. You know, we haven't collectively been good enough, and that's why we are in the league. You know, the league table doesn't lie. You win, you lose, you draw. And if you win more than you lose, you've got a chance to be in the playoffs. And we didn't do it. And this season has been particularly bad. And there's no getting away from it, there's no hiding from the fact, and I will never hide from the fact. But again, we do everything we can out on that pitch and leave everything out there, and if we're not good enough on the day, that's fine. If there's lack of effort, that's a problem, you know, and we just need everyone to get behind us, really.
Definitely. I think the majority of supporters, if not all the supporters, know that there's been a huge effort this season, and I don't think anyone is everyone's disappointed, but at the same time I think people appreciate the fact that the players work, they've got full-time jobs. You go to somewhere like Leeston on a Tuesday night, they get back at 3 o'clock, or goodness knows when, they've got to get up at 5 o'clock sometimes. So I think supporters appreciate that and do know the efforts the players and you and your management team go through. I'd like to wish you, I will wish you a nice summer, and your management team and the players, but I suspect you're going to be quite busy as well.
Yeah, as a Monday, probably busy, Jim. But just before we go, like put on record for Nathan Elder. I think he's been outstanding for me from the day he came in on loan from Dover and we stayed up to the game today, you know.
Terrific.
I think he's been a great servant, he's been a great person to have around. The boys, he's infectious around the boys, top family man, and like I say, whatever he chooses to go and do now, he has all my best, but he's been fantastic for us.
Absolutely, I can only echo that, it's been brilliant. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers, Jim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob. Very much indeed.
Cheers, Gaffer. Do you get the blame for today?
Yeah.
Good man.
How are you feeling? Emotional?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm proper emotional actually. I think coming off obviously giving the boys a hug and then seeing the crowd after, seeing my family, yeah, it does it home. It is home, definitely.
That moment when you came off, you know, so presumably you knew you were going to come off a couple of minutes from the end, that had all been arranged.
Yeah.
Around hugging everybody. You know, it was lovely to see it.
Yeah, it is. I know it sounds so kind of cliche, but it's like being with family, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I've worked alongside these boys week in, week out during the season for 3 and a bit years, seen people come in, seen people go, seen the highs, the lows, you know, even for me, the players, the gaffer, management, people around the club as well. You know, I mean, I think even last night I was kind of thinking about, you know, some of the bad times like junior, you know, I'm not seeing obviously Bluey's injury, Witz's injuries, when they've had really, really bad ones. And then you see the highs like the dressing room, away games, on the coach, having some crazy banter. And it literally has been like a family for the last 3 and a bit years. So yeah, it does. It is it's going to be missed, without a doubt.
Did you want to keep it quiet till today? Nobody... There were thinking about it, but it didn't go out until today.
No, do you know what? It's like, I kind of knew it was coming, if I'm going to be honest, because especially the way we've been playing them in this season, I scored 12. But then if you look at the past couple of seasons, I've scored over 20. And I think, you know, with me getting probably on a bit, as much as I hate to admit it, your body doesn't recover as quickly. I know the gaffer's probably looking for a bit of a different style of play to when I first came in. And it's football, you know, there's no animosity whatsoever. He brought me in probably when I was at a bit of a low point with Dover. Obviously we won the league, but then the season after that I didn't play at all. I literally had a whole season of switching from club to club, and he brought me in, he showed a bit of faith in me. We avoided relegation the first season, and the next 2 seasons we, you know, were flying in with goals. Bluey one season hitting absolute bangers away at Bognor Regis, and you know, it was really enjoyable. You know, we had, you know, we haven't won anything in the last 3 and a bit years, and that's the only thing I regret. But I think the same with every football team you ever go to. You want to win things, and you know, the highs and lows are just crazy that we've been through. But it's great that I've been a part of it.
65 goals in 3 and a bit years. That's a goal record you've every right to be proud of.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's and it tells. I've been happy, really happy here. You know, I've not got one bad thing to say about the club, and as a player, even when you leave, you know, usually when someone leaves, they've got a little bit of a bite to say, and I haven't got anything. You know, I just wish I could have won something. I think that's probably the only thing. I like to think of myself as a winner, and the boys that I'm around are winners as well. For whatever circumstances, there's no excuses, but we didn't. That's my only regret. Aside from that, learned a lot from the gaffer, management team, Barry, Justin. Learned a lot from all of them, but you know, some of the senior lads like Stoney, Sonny, Parky, you know, they're fantastic gentlemen, absolute gentlemen. Wits is going to be here for the rest of his life, and he's going to enjoy it. And yeah, I'm going to miss him without a doubt.
65 goals, but it should have been 66 because I didn't see anything wrong with that goal you scored today, did you?
No, neither did I. Do you know what? You kind of think to yourself, like, I must have gone to bed last night. I knew I was starting today. I went to bed last night. I think, gonna score, got to score. You know, score, run over to the dugout, celebrate with everyone the way you want to, and it just weren't meant to be today. I thought that one was mine, but ref gave it the other way, unfortunately. But you know what? I'm happy I can even say that I've got 65 goals in you know, 3 and a bit years, because even that for me, every time the ball's in the net, I've enjoyed it, and there's no feeling like it. Obviously, Billericay at home was my last goal. You can't explain feelings like that, and that's why we still play football as much as we can. there was one of the older guys when I was playing pro just said to me, play until you cannot move. Like literally play every season until you can't move. And that's why, because that feeling never goes away. So hopefully I can carry on a little bit.
Well, you'll be very, very welcome here whenever you have a free Saturday. Thanks very much indeed for some fantastic memories. Best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
Substituting the Angels, coming up, number 9, Nathan Elder. Going to the pitch, number 15, Dominic Welsh.